It's a random Sunday afternoon. You're scrolling through YouTube or Instagram and you see one of those videos, How I Became a Millionaire in 18 Months, or Turn $1,000 into $1 million with this simple trick. And for just a second, you think, wait, am I missing something? Because you work hard, you make a decent income, but when you open your bank account, it definitely doesn't look like millionaire progress. So naturally, you start wondering, is building real wealth actually possible, or is everyone online just exaggerating? Here's the thing. A lot of financial advice online falls into two extremes. On one side, you have the get-rich-quick crowd, crypto secrets, day trading systems, dropshipping hacks. And on the other side, you have the super slow advice. Just invest for 40 years and maybe you'll be comfortable when you're 65. Neither of those answers is very satisfying. But here's what most people don't realize. Building real wealth doesn't take 40 years, and it definitely doesn't happen in 6 months. But 5 years? 5 years is actually enough time to completely transform your financial life if you focus on the right things. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the realistic path to building serious financial momentum in the next 5 years, not the flashy version, the version that actually works. Let's start with the first uncomfortable truth. Wealth is not built through saving alone. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't saving money the entire point? Well, yes and no. Saving is important, but saving alone is like trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon. Here's what I mean. Let's say someone saves $300 per month. That's actually better than most people. According to data from the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. So saving $300 a month is solid. But let's look at the math. $300 per month equals $3,600 per year. Over 5 years, that's $18,000. Even if you invested that money and earned around 8% annually, you'd end up with roughly $21,000 to $22,000. That's good, but it's not life-changing. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the biggest driver of wealth in the first 5 years is not investing, it's income growth. Here's what most people overlook. Early in your financial journey, your most powerful asset isn't your savings account, it's your earning ability. Think of your income like the engine of a car. If the engine is small, no amount of clever steering will make that car go fast. You need more horsepower. The same is true with money. When you increase your income, everything else becomes easier. Saving becomes easier, investing becomes easier, debt disappears faster. Let's look at a simple example. Person A earns $3,000 per month and saves 10%. That's $300 per month. Person B spends the first 2 years improving their skills, negotiating raises and building side income. Their income grows to $5,000 per month. Now they save the same 10%. That's $500 per month. That difference alone adds up to $12,000 more in savings over 5 years. And if the gap grows even larger, the difference becomes massive. Which leads us to step 1, increase your income.
Now, before you roll your eyes and think, if it were that easy, everyone would do it. I get it. Income growth doesn't happen overnight. But most people underestimate how much their income can grow in 5 years. 5 years is enough time to learn a valuable skill, change careers, start a side business, negotiate multiple raises. In fact, data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that workers who switch jobs often increase their salary by 10 to 20% on average. Do that twice in 5 years, and your income could look completely different. But income alone isn't enough, because here's the second trap people fall into: lifestyle inflation. You get a raise and suddenly you upgrade everything. Better apartment, better car, more expensive habits. Before long, your income increases, but your bank account stays exactly the same. This is one of the biggest wealth killers, and psychologists actually have a term for it: hedonic adaptation. Your brain quickly gets used to improvements in lifestyle. That new car feels amazing for about 3 months. Then it becomes normal, and suddenly you want the next upgrade. Which is why step 2 is so important. Lock in your savings rate. Here's a simple rule that works incredibly well. Every time your income increases, automatically save at least half of that raise. So if your income goes up by $1,000 per month, you invest 500 of it. The other 500 you're free to enjoy. This one habit alone prevents lifestyle inflation from stealing your progress. Now, this is where the investing part finally comes in. Step 3. Make your money work. Once you have consistent savings, those dollars need a job. And historically, one of the most reliable tools for long-term wealth has been broad market investing. For example, the S&P 500 has returned roughly 10% annually on average over the last century. Of course, markets go up and down in the short term, but over longer periods, consistent investing has been one of the most effective wealth-building strategies available to everyday people. Let's run a quick 5-year example. Suppose after increasing your income and controlling lifestyle inflation, you're able to invest $1,000 per month. Over 5 years, that's $60,000 invested. With moderate market growth, that could grow to around $70,000 or more. But here's what most people miss. The real magic isn't just the money you accumulated in 5 years. It's the momentum you built. Because once you reach that level of investing, the next 5 years accelerate dramatically. Think about it this way. A friend focused his early 20s on 3 things only: increasing income, avoiding lifestyle inflation, and investing consistently. Nothing flashy, no risky trades, just discipline. 5 years later, he had over $80,000 invested. But more importantly, his income had doubled, which meant the next 5 years were going to move even faster. That's how wealth actually builds. Not overnight, but through compounding momentum. So if you want to build wealth in the next 5 years, here is your realistic roadmap. First, focus on increasing your income. Your earning ability is your most powerful financial asset right now. Second, protect yourself from lifestyle inflation. Save at least half of every raise you get. Third, invest consistently in long-term assets that grow over time. And fourth, stay consistent for the full 5 years. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Wealth doesn't come from one brilliant decision. It comes from hundreds of small decisions, repeated consistently over time. 5 years from now is going to arrive whether you're ready or not. The only question is what your financial life will look like when it gets here. Will you still feel stuck? Or will you have built the kind of momentum that makes the next decade completely different? Because sometimes the difference between staying broke and building real wealth is simply choosing a better strategy and giving it enough time to work. If this video helped you see money a little differently, make sure to hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Where do you want your finances to be 5 years from today? Because that future starts with the decisions you make right now.